For about 15 months.
I've only lived in assisted living since October of last year, and this is May, I think. And I've been very privileged to be there.
I don't know exactly. I'd say 3 months.
We came to the Highlands in 2002, so I'd been there for some while. My husband was in healthcare for 4 years, and I continued at the Highlands very happily. And then in January of 12, I moved over here.
And my mother was in assisted living over 4 years.
Of course, it wasn't something that I expected to do, but as a result of an accident, here I am, and I'm quite satisfied.
I moved in Village Court in 1997, and I was here. I've been in assisted living for 2 years.
I think the staff is the thing that has meant the most to me, but the activities also have been very good. They try to have something for us to do every day, and they have small trips for us. We have little scenic drives, go out for lunch occasionally, and one day a month they usually take us on a shopping trip, so that's nice too.
Everything seems to be pretty nice. I mean, the people that work here, the girls, are very nice. And you know, very, like for instance, Donna, I just love her. And Judy too. They, you know, they're such nice people and pleasant, you know.
Probably the nicest thing that happens is that when I don't feel good, somebody is there to help me out of it. I really appreciate that.
Oh, the improvement in my mobility, just my general condition. I'm where I need to be, and it just made a tremendous difference in my life.
Right now I'm feeling great, but there has been a time when I didn't, and I just have the assurance that there will be somebody to help me over whatever it is my problem is, and I really appreciate that.
I think the first time I came over to see her, to just stop in and see her after he had died, and I realized she wasn't in her room. One of the staff told me that she had gone down the hall to play cards. I didn't even get to see her before I heard her famous giggle and knew that she was out and about and having a good time and taking advantage of all that was available to her here.
They meet my daily needs just fine. They come in and wake me up in the morning, and I say, no, go away.
Just overwhelmingly. I feel very pampered. It's wonderful to have the nursing staff. I feel so confident. I don't ever have to think about pills. I don't have to think about calling the doctor unless I specifically want to. They just seem to anticipate my needs.
Everything that I need to do to live, I think, from food to medicine to rest and assurances that that things are better or worse than they were.
I've never asked for anything that wasn't done immediately, and that to me is terrific.
Well, for one, they I don't need to cook. I don't even have to do my toast.
Getting up in the morning and not have to worry about what I'm going to have for breakfast in the morning, that is very nice.
You know, it's not just the healthcare staff that was available 24 hours a day to my in-laws, but it was the food services personnel. It was that took care of and had provided meals 3 times a day and snacks in between, which my father-in-law particularly liked. But also the house cleaning staff, that became not only taking care of their rooms, but I mean, became personally acquainted and friendly with my in-laws. And then when you throw in the wellness center staff, the volunteers that they interacted with, it was just a great positive experience for my in-laws in their latter years of life.
Being residents, we were well acquainted with the level of care that was available here. And so were my parents. When they came to assisted living, they came from the Highlands. So they had been at Sunnyside and had a familiarity with it. But they thrived when they came over here, and that was very gratifying for us.
I'm not used to being that spoiled.
For one thing, you can do what you want to.
I'm permitted to do pretty much whatever I would do if I were living alone and as an independent, and I appreciate that because the independence is something that you never want to leave go totally. But they let me have that here, and I'm able to make, if I feel like, well, I do, to make my own beds and take my own shower. They don't object to that at all. And yet, whenever I don't feel good, I'm allowed to ask for help. And that really helps.
And at first, because I think it's really a stupid game, that bingo. But now since I'm doing it, I kind of like it.
I think the activity department just does a tremendous job.
I think the small trips and the entertainment they have usually is very good, and they have a movie every Saturday night.
I love the art immersion and ceramic. Well, I don't particularly enjoy ceramics, but I always go because it's something to do with a group.
They were around people all the time, whether it be staff or other residents. We knew there would never be any time for them to be lonely.
My favorite is playing for the chaplains, the piano for the chaplains for their services, both in healthcare and second floor and the terrace, and also chaplains chat on Thursday.
Even though that we live here at Sunnyside also and we're close enough to them, it was gratifying to us to know that we didn't have to spend 100% of our time with them, that they were taken care of here in AL.
Don't hesitate.
Don't wait.
That's the easiest question you've asked. Don't wait.
Too often, we let things go too long for us not to be able to help ourselves. And we think we can, but we can't. And we're not able to get up in the morning and take care of our daily needs of food, shopping, that kind of thing. Almost
Within a month after I came here, I just felt so entirely different.
When you're in this independent living, you kind of have a tendency to say, oh, I'm great, but that is not so. It really isn't. And it takes decision and fortitude to convince yourself that you need to do it.
Don't wait until your loved one gets too old or infirm to take advantage of all that's offered over here.
My suggestion is to do it yourself and be well enough when you have to do it that you acknowledge that.
Once they move in, every level of care can be met. But in the meantime, there's so much to take advantage of and to do that it's really worth it if they do come, maybe even what they would consider a few years early.
Too often when we hold on to it and then it ends up that family or friends make that decision. And that I can't imagine what that's like. My family didn't. I made that decision.
Movement had been difficult, moving around. Getting to the dining room had been getting more and more difficult. And
it really gives you a stress-free kind of living, doesn't it?
That's a good word for it. I just don't have to worry about things.
For me to come to assisted living with such an assurance that my life could go on and I could be comfortable about it.
And have a very good attitude towards it so that you will be able to enjoy the facilities that we do have.
I love it.
On the whole, I like it here, and everybody is terribly nice. You know, that is the best thing about it. All those girls that work here seem to, maybe they can't stand each other, but they seem to like each other and get along well.
Sunnyside is just great. It's the best decision I ever made years ago, and I don't regret a bit of it. They have lived up to every expectation that anyone could want. And I think the fellowship that you have is the greatest, one of the greatest things.
It's a caring staff over here that really is the heart of assisted living. And they're just waiting here for residents to move in and take care of. And that, to me, is something that's very gratifying and very satisfying with how we dealt with my in-laws.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about your parent or your loved one becoming institutionalized. It's more like an extended family, and that makes you feel good.